Good evening, everybody. Give me an audio test, David. Make sure OBS is reading you.
1, 2, 3. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy motherfucking dog, boys and girls.
Oh, Jesus, you're a bit loud. Oh,
I did lean into Mike. I'll move away in a minute.
that's all right. I should be able to.
Yeah, but if you turn me down, you won't hear me when I'm sat further away.
Okay, fair. So,
the man maketh a point. You know that's true.
good evening, everybody. Welcome to another hobby live stream. We hope you've had a good week since we last saw you. Let me just adjust my sexy artist's apron. Da, da, da.
And yet you fucking ridiculed me when I said about getting one, you bellend.
That's true. I'm gonna cop to that. That is fair. That is fair critique. I did mock shamelessly, but my wife got sick of me trashing my clothes with paint, varnish, fucking filler, you name it. So she said, "Here's a fucking artist's apron to stop you ruining quite so many clothes with such a shocking frequency." And I had to say, fair.
Evening, Tim.
Hello, sir. For everybody,
he was waiting for us.
For everybody waiting, I've tried to improve the chat. I noticed on last week's video that literally, unless you were sitting with your eyeballs glued to the TV, it was probably completely unreadable. So hopefully this would be better.
Slightly more legible.
Pull up the audio on your mic. What are you asking me, Tim? Can we be louder?
And whose mic specifically?
Probably me. Let me headset.
I'm a little bit overexposed.
So there we go. I've boosted my headset mic. Hopefully that's enough. Me, Tim, Paul, or both of us, or okay.
No, just your mic. Okay, so I assume it means your mic.
Yep. I'll take it up to +7. Testing. I think I'm still way off where David is. Let's try +12. Hopefully that's not too loud, he says, as everybody rips their earphones off and runs for cover.
Yeah, but don't you have a noise gate in Banana anyway? So if you do start going too high pitched, you just click.
Yeah, that's actually, look at that. He's just noticed what I haven't, which is that I had the microphone bent way back because I've been sat here fucking trying to set the stream and completely forgotten to put my mic in the operating position. Well caught, Tim. Yep. Okay, that's better. So, what have we been up to this week? So, do you want me to go first?
Do you want to kick off? Because mine is not really a long one. It's just possibly of less interest for those that. Jesus, are you fucking serious, dude? It's just possibly less of an interest for those that are tabletop gaming fanatics.
Yes, because you didn't do wargaming as such, did you? Well, I had a bit of an orgy of gaming this week because I got 2 sessions in. Firstly, on Sunday, I managed to get a game of Malifaux 3rd edition in at home, which I don't often get to do.
Get you?
Let me just see. So let's go here. I was running my Asami crew. So let's go to the browser page and we can show everybody exactly what we were doing. So here we go, transition. So
I'm just going to mute myself for 30 seconds because I'm sanding and it's probably going to be irritating.
fair, you do that. So this is what I was doing Sunday. I was running my 10 Thunders crew. So my master or warband leader was Asami Tanaka. She's a sort of Japanese style demon summoning freak. And it's about the third time I've played the played the band, and I'm starting to get the hang of it. I won the game. My opponent was playing Cornelius Basser from the guild, so think sort of gunslinging cowboys. Virtually every one of his models had some sort of gun or ranged attack, which was something I didn't have. But as I say, I'm starting to get the hang of summoning the extra demon models and leveraging that, because Asami can be overwhelmed if she doesn't maximize her ability to bring those extra resources to the table. I wish it's a game I don't get to play very often, unfortunately. But as I say, had really good fun with that on Sunday night. I did take a few pics, but unfortunately I forgot to upload them to my OneDrive, so I can't show everybody at home. But yeah, it was a good game. A very thinky game. Malifaux. The great thing about Malifaux 3rd edition, for those who haven't played it, is that it's one of those games where you have to focus on what the game's asking you to do in the missions. If you just go gung-ho and wade in and try and kill your opponent's models without actually focusing on the strategies and schemes that you've drawn at the start of the game, you can kill stuff, but if you don't score points, you've only got 5 turns, and most of them you're limited. You can only score 1 point per turn, so each turn you don't score, you get behind and you can't catch up. There's very little catch-up mechanic in it.
Evening, Michael.
So, as I say, you have to stay focused on what you need to do. And as I say, I think I'm finally starting to get the hang of it with Asami, which, as I say, game went really well. The other gaming I managed to get in was on club night. I managed to get another game of Arkham Horror living card game. So I love this game. I played with we played mission 3 of the starter mission, which is in the core box, Night of the Zealot. We played the boosted Return to variant, as we did on the first 2 missions. And again, we added a 4th player, so we were playing 4 investigators this time. It was myself, Natalie and Daniel, who'd both been in the previous mission, and we added Connor as investigator 4. And again, it was another close mission. We got to the 3rd agenda card with only 3 doom left before we absolutely got crushed. So we took it right to the wire, but we did manage to stop the ritual and prevent the summoning of the mighty Mordoth, Greater Old One, which was awesome. But yeah, fantastic game. All of the players who took part, it was like their first campaign of Arkham, and they all absolutely loved it. The only problem is now I've got to find time in my gaming schedule to play another campaign with them, and the drawback with Arkham is because it's a campaign driven game, it's a massive time investment. I mean, a standard campaign is 8 missions. So you're talking 8 gaming sessions. Once you've started, you're sort of committed to following it through, which is, a problem, particularly for Magpie gamers like David and me, who just like to play every single game under the sun. Once you commit to it, it eats up a lot of your gaming time. So, hello, Michael. Good evening.
He's just started a House de Lac gang for Necromunda.
Very nice, very nice. I'm a Van Saar man myself. Not that I've played much Necromunda.
I'm Goliath. Not that I've played a single game in anger yet, because they're still on my table needing primer.
Well, you've not had them long though, have you?
No, true. I suppose I've only had them a month, maybe.
Yeah. So you barely bought them. So that's what I did this week. I tell you what, again, I did get photos, but I apologise to everyone. I haven't had a chance to upload them to my OneDrive today. Patrick at our club played Marvel Crisis Protocol with Joe, another guy, just sort of introducing him to the game, and my God, the table looked fantastic. He had some partially painted MDF buildings from TT Combat, the stuff that they do for Batman. So he had the Gotham City Library and a ruined house.
You can't cross the streams. You can't cross the stream.
Yeah, well, yes, you can. And he had all the Marvel Crisis Protocol painted cars. And a great game mat from Game Mat EU, I think it was. Oh no, Deep Cut. It was a Deep Cut mat, a 3x3 street scene, fantastic looking table. And they looked like they were really enjoying that game. Ran a little bit long, but they were having bloody good fun. What about you, David? What did you get up to Monday?
I played some Everdell.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing the pictures now. Yep.
So it was my 4th or 5th game, Luke's 2nd game, David's 1st game, Ricky's 1st game. Love the game.
Just for everybody at home, that's a board game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a city builder board game is probably the best way to describe it, isn't it?
Yeah. I suppose in a technical sense, it's what they would call a tableau builder, because you sort of lay out an array of cards in front of you, don't you, to represent your city, 15, if you like.
15 cards to represent your city and build it up as you go along. So it was actually quite a good game. It was close for the top 3. Unfortunately for Ricky, he just didn't have the look of the draw and only walked away with 12 points versus my 56, DW's 52, and Luke's 40 odd.
That's a crushing
but
swing against
even though Ricky had his ass handed to him in inverted commas, he enjoyed it. He's not necessarily going to play it again, because I just don't think it's his jam. But he enjoyed the game. It was a nice different thing for him. Do you know what I mean?
Made a change sort of thing.
Yeah, so that was what I did on Monday. I've had a pretty shit week hobby-wise. I did, however, on was it Sunday? Which reminds me, actually, I need to possibly go turn the Patreon off for these guys in a minute. Punga Miniatures printed their add-on characters. So I printed the 2 for me for the painting competition, because this month's theme is pint-sized. So Halfling Referee and Halfling Chef it is for me. And I printed 2 for Ricky. So Ricky's got a female chef and a female cheerleader. So Ricky has blasted through painting them this week.
Oh my God. He's a fucking machine, that boy. Has he got them done already?
Yeah, 10-hour session.
Oh,
Did them in a day. And I've literally just put the first coat of primer down on mine now, so we're gonna see how painting them goes tonight, I guess.
I was going to do, and I did sort of like mention this last week, I was going to dig out some of my Squat Epic stuff. Because I thought, well, if you're talking pint-sized, 6 mils pretty pint-sized.
6 mil halflings, even more pint-sized.
Yeah, 6 mil dwarves, even more pint-sized. But unfortunately, I can't find any of them.
Oh, there's a wild surprise. You and fucking finding shit that you actually want to paint.
Yeah, I know, it's a fucking nightmare. That's not true, actually. I have found a half sprue that's got some of the models removed from it.
That's handy, isn't it?
I might throw something together. It depends. My fallback position is to try and paint a couple of my Dungeons and Doggos minis, because I've got a couple of these very tiny little dogs left to paint. I've still got the Corgi and the French Bulldog to finish, so I might end up doing those as a fallback position, but it feels a bit of a cheat to put the same sort of like thing into the painting competition twice, because I did dogs one when we did when dogs was his theme, didn't I? Underdog.
Yeah,
but
again, technically, I did exactly the same thing, because what did I do for Underdog? A fucking Halfling Blood Bowl team.
Oh, that is true. You've set a precedent. I've got a get out of jail free card. Ah ha ha ha. Well, I might do that then. So, yeah, I actually found the boxes for my epic stuff, both my Imperial Guard and squats, and opened them up, and inside them were a load of Blood Angels Firstborn Marines that need finishing or painting up. How the hell they've ended up in there is beyond me.
House moved Scotland.
I can't say. I can't say at what point I thought it would be a good idea to take all the sprues out of the epic boxes and put them in something else, and then put a load of half-finished Marines in plastic bags in those boxes. It must have seemed like a good idea at the time.
That sounds like shit. That sounds like the shit I do.
I mean, Christ, what a fucking moron. And it's like you said, I've got so much hobby-related junk and models and yada, yada, yada. To do something so inane, just give me strength. But I'm sure I'll find them eventually. It's just I may not be able to find them for the weekend. Oh, and the other thing is, whereas I thought I was back to work Wednesday, I'm not. I'm back to work Monday. So my holiday is a little bit shorter than I thought it was.
Michael has never played Necromunda before. He's trying to get a friend into it and get into the painting side of things again.
Well, as I say, I've played it briefly. It's not my favourite game, I'll be honest, but I think it's very much dependent on who you're playing with. Certainly,
and what game mode you're playing.
Yeah, and also there's been a lot of extra rules released since I played it, so they may have fixed a lot of the wonkiness. But I mean, what's great?
I would like to disagree, just because of the game's producer.
Well, I can't.
All comment. I'm going to say.
I can't comment because I don't know. I'll be honest. I know what you're trying to say, which is chances aren't great, but I've got to give them the benefit of the doubt because, as I say, I've not played it recently. But hey ho. So, do you play other games, Michael, or is that your first foray into miniature wargaming?
If so, we can recommend plenty of other plastic crack addictions.
Yeah, give the bloke a break. If it's his first chance, let's not overwhelm the poor lad.
No, we're just your neighbourhood gaming dealers.
To be fair,
Speaking of which,
Necromunda has that same issue with Arkham because it's campaign driven. It's one of the miniatures games. It's a big investment to do it several weeks on the trot and develop your warband and etc. etc.
I would like to counter that.
Go for it.
Frostgrave is completely fucking narrative and campaign driven. That's not a fucking chore.
No, I didn't say it was a chore. I'm saying that when you're somebody who's only got limited gaming time, any of those, more times the same, any of those games where you've got to be invested to play 4 or 5 missions before you start to get anywhere, they're a big thing, aren't they? They're not like pickup games.
No, I suppose.
I mean, you and I could throw an army to DZC on the table, have fun for 3 hours, and then not touch it for 6 months, and then come back. No,
speak for yourself.
Well, come back and do it again.
Yeah.
Later.
Side note: DW's dropped an absolute bombshell on PHR for DZC.
What do you mean he's dropped a bombshell?
He is pre-ordered a behemoth.
Oh my god. So he's already started the arms race, has he?
Yeah, he's already started the arms race. I just can't compete at the moment because I don't like Scourge and I'm not buying a PHR behemoth if he's got PHR behemoth. But yeah, he started the arms race that way. He's also bought probably about another 1,250 points to flesh his army out.
God.
So all in all, yeah, the arms race has started, boys and girls. I will comment on how to bring them down when I eventually kick its ass.
So what's he done? Basically just gone shopping for every option so that he can tailor a list?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's nice. I mean, Jesus. Well,
it's definitely the other side of 3 figures that he's dropped. Can't remember the exact amount off the top of my head. But I'm looking forward to it because again,
if he's pre-ordered the behemoth, that's like thick end of £100, isn't it?
No, it's 80 quid at Goblin Gaming, boys and girls. If you want to roll down to your local Goblin Gaming and pre-order yourself the behemoth, you can save yourself 15 quid compared to buying direct from TT Combat.
That's pretty good. It is pretty good.
It is pretty tasty. So yeah, the arms race has started. But there's more than one way to skin a cat, as we found out looking at the rules.
What do you mean?
Isn't there? Well, we had a look at the rules for the PHR Behemoth because they released them after stream, didn't they?
Yeah. And
basically their profiles and stuff are working on like shooting out the legs, shooting out the other hull points. So there's hull, weapons, and legs. If you take 2 of those categories out, basically the behemoth is crippled and will not come back. It dies.
So I mean, on paper, it means you only have to sort of remove half of its hull points if you go for the 2 weakest things, which is a good way to balance them.
They're 500 points each, from what we've seen at the moment. I know they are probably going to.
That's my favourite thing about it, is that they've pointed them in such a way that I can do my 1,000-point army, which is my sort of preferred play level, and then just add the behemoth as a. I want to push it to 1,500. I'll take my original list and just stick the behemoth on top like a cherry, and bang, you're up to 1,500 points. You've got your behemoth. and it's such a. I mean, I'm a lazy beggar.
Sensible. It's sensible.
Yeah,
as well.
It's a great way to stage your army and get into bigger games in steps. I really like that aspect of it.
They are gorgeous minis. Considering they are Titan size and solid resin, the fact that they're the same price as a plastic injection molded Titan from GW, very good. So
I think they're all going to end up very unique as well. Very unique. Because obviously,
I've got no idea which way they're going to go for the Resistance or the UCM.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the Sheltari, really.
Well, I think
the Sheltari will probably end up being a walker similar to the PHR.
Do you think?
They do. Yeah, because they have walkers in their army.
Right.
They're like a jaguar or tarantula, I think they're called, or the birdie. They're like 3 or 4-legged little walkers.
Wouldn't it be better if they went with something that really played with the Sheltari gate mechanic? Maybe a massive thing with like gates or portals attached to it so it could bring other things in.
True. My only concern is the dropping stuff and apparating stuff on that size of vehicle and charged atmosphere, which is an inherent rule of teleportation and using the gates in the Sheltari.
What do you mean?
Well, I do believe you measure to anywhere on the model when it's charged atmosphere. So, for example, on the gates, it's within 4 inches of them.
Right. But what does that do?
If you're flying near, it's basically really strong AA against what it's near. Can you imagine that on a behemoth-sized vehicle, mate?
Oh. Yeah. So basically, it would create a huge no-fly zone.
Yeah, which again is quite a cool mechanic, but I think that would struggle to be balanced.
Yeah, I think you make a fair point. Yeah, you do make a fair point.
What else have we been into in the world of hobby this week? Actually, I had another realization. I probably need to go to Goblin Gaming before tonight is up, or other equivalent gamers, and pre-order Underworlds.
Nethermaze,
and the Exiled Undead. Now, interestingly, did you know the Exiled Undead that are on pre-order at the same time are for the old set, i.e. Harrowdeep?
Right.
But obviously they're releasing the new edition this coming Saturday for Nethermaze, so therefore technically there is 0 days of playtime with the Exiled Dead in the set that they actually belong to.
That seems a very weird way to gear your release calendar. That does seem very weird. But I guess...
at least give them a month. At least give somebody a month. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Like you say, to drop a warband from that expansion. Oh, hello. Tim's trying to give us a Kickstarter link. Let me see if I can unblock that. No, I can't. Sometimes it gives me, it shows me comments that are held for review, Tim, but no, it's not passing that link on, I'm afraid. Like you say, it's just removing it.
You know what we probably should do? Is set up a Yellow Belly Gaming Discord.
We probably should, to be fair. We should get super organised.
And then shit like that can go in the Discord, and then we can be shouted at to just nip across to Discord and have a look. Do you know what I mean?
Or more importantly, Tim can ping it to us in Discord, and then I could just copy paste it to my browser and share it with
Yeah,
everybody on the Vim.
that's what I mean by
Oh.
i.e. Tim shouts about going to Discord, get the link, and then bring it up.
Yeah. I shall. That's probably a cool idea, actually. Yeah, that is a very cool idea.
Look at me having all the ideas.
Yeah. So what Kickstarter were you trying
Shit.
to show us? Tim, can you just give us the name of it, and I'll see if I can reveal
Have a look at it.
Go fish for it.
Speaking of Kickstarters,
Yes.
Battle Drill delivered, and Saucer Men Studios Flatline City 2. I downloaded all of the Battle Drill stuff.
That's all. That's the great thing about these digital ones that you back. You just get the stuff so quickly, don't you? Generally.
Yeah, it's like, oh look, it's 4 weeks after release, or 4 weeks after it's closed. You've got all your files. Do you know what I mean? It's lovely. Yeah. Lovely.
No waiting 6 to 8 months for.
Try fucking 2.5 years for Assassin's Creed, my friend.
Yeah, well, that was partially a COVID thing, wasn't it? To be fair.
Yeah, I know, but the point still stands.
I mean, it still probably would have been 6 to 8 months even without COVID, because most of these big ship manufacturer ones are. Well, I've nearly got my first set of Assassin's Creed models done. I have seen that Kickstarter. So Tim's saying,
which Kickstarter is this?
So they talked about it on OnTableTop. It's some very, very cool space dwarves. I mean, the thing is, there are already loads of cool space dwarf models out there. I mean, I know it's unfashionable, but I'm quite a fan of the Mantic stuff, if I'm brutally honest. So this is, oh my god, these things are so fucking cool. These reek of old school, don't they, Tim? Good God Almighty. Let's make sure the browser is actually working. It is. Let's transition to it. So this is what Tim was trying to share with everyone.
Hang on, I'll see when it comes up on stream. Speaking of which, I've found somebody that does 3D printed alternatives for Adeptus Mechanicus, and you know they're like Rough Riders that are on the mechanized horses.
I would like to say yes at this point to look really smart, but no, I haven't got a bloody clue. I've heard I've heard them talked about because they do like gunslinger type models, don't they?
Yeah, the alternatives I've found are Adeptus Mechanicus riding mechanical T-Rexes, which look fucking baller.
Oh, Discord went on. One Page Rules have done some absolutely amazing lizard.
Oh yeah, I need
miniatures.
to join. Yeah, they have, because I have 3D printed those for a colleague.
Now I've finished painting that model, let's go and have a quick scroll down this and see what's going on. I mean, with
I'm loving the 80s style fucking text.
The padded jackets and the guns with the sort of like the obviously angular outer casings. Look at it. I mean, even the goblin green base edges, man. Absolutely amazing.
Screams throwback. Evening, Dan. How are we doing?
Oh, these things are amazing. So, this Kickstarter is currently at $8,500 of a $500 goal. Okay, so he smashed it.
Out the park?
What are the pledge levels?
And are they 3D printable or are they actual minis?
These are vacuum cast resin. These are the actual miniatures.
Ooh, spicy. Spicy. Spicy.
Jesus, he's up to his third wave. Currently, his first 2 waves have gone. So he must be producing these in small batches, probably himself. They are fantastic. They are really great. The only thing I would say...
I was going to say, I'm sensing a butt coming.
It's a bit limited. I mean, he's doing 5... He's doing 5 models for 30 quid.
That's Drowned Earth pricing. That's not too bad.
Oh my god. He's got a great selection of minis there. You can see where the guy gets his inspiration from. He's obviously a bit of a fan of the old school. Yeah, I mean, they are cute. They are cute. I mean, to get them to add them as a... They'd be the kind of thing that would be better to pick up as a Stargrave, something like that, because you've got a very limited selection of models, and you know you've effectively only got 3 sculpts. But they are cute. They're really cute, and again, they get my juices flowing for the classic squats of old.
I was about to say, can we not talk about your juices on the stream, sir? This
evening, Dan.
Whilst this stream does have a 18 plus content warning for the amount of fucking profanity, I don't think everyone while they're painting needs the visual images of your juices flowing.
Okay, we'll stop mentioning it then.
That's my 2 cents.
You keep going there. I would have let it lie, but no, you wouldn't let it lie.
No, why should I let it lie? I'm triggered. Anyway, next point of rant and discussion this week. For those that like a Vallejo paint.
Oh God, he's off.
What the fuck is up with their naming conventions? Look, medium grey, it's actually fucking beige. Stone grey, neither grey nor fucking stone coloured. It's beige. Fucking pale blue, it's grey. Why?
Look, they're not the only ones that are guilty of this. I mean, to be fair, there is a discussion there. So here's the discussion then. Is it worse to call your paints shit like Griffhound Orange, which is like utterly fucking meaningless, because what's a Griffhound?
I know exactly what a Griffhound is if you happen to be into the GPU setting.
Or is it worse to use real colour terminology but use it utterly inappropriately?
At least Griffhound Orange is fucking orange.
That is true. That is very true. It's quite a strong orange. Yeah.
See you, Tim.
See you later, mate. Yeah.
It just triggers me because, okay, 99% of the time I'm not actually painting by the name on the bottle.
What do you find... Come on then. What do you find frustrating about it?
Say you're Joe Blogs.
Right.
That hasn't fucking painted a thing in his life. And
yeah, okay. I see where you're going. So it doesn't... You're not complaining from the point of view that this is something that trips you up or bothers you much.
No, because I never paint from the names on the bottle. I paint from the shade in the bottle in front of me, or the shade on the again color charts. That's another fucking wormhole. And I know half of that is to do with color balance of monitors or color of printing. But some of the colors on the Vallejo color chart are nowhere fucking near what they actually are when you've painted them.
I would go further and say that actually the colour chart, apart from being a checklist to mark down what you own and to know what's available, is next to fucking useless for picking the paints. The Vallejo model colour chart does not have any sort of like connection to the reality of what these paints look like when they're painted. I mean, to be fair, again, I understand the issues manufacturers have, because the whole issue of what colour a paint is changes depending on the undercoat you use, depending on how thick or thin you paint it. Do you know what I mean?
I get that aspect entirely, and I'm not asking for a silver bullet that cures all of those problems.
Yeah.
My grievance is somebody new to the hobby who comes to club, who's just started painting, asks me or yourself or anyone else who's any good, what paints do you recommend? And my go-to answer is Vallejo model color.
Yes,
I agree. The price is good. The coverage is fucking good. The drying time is good. The finish is good. It's not flat matte, because again, that's something that and again, you've even commented on some of these new paints that are on the market, like the Scale 75s. The matteness of the paint is really nice, but it doesn't suit the scale of some of the minis that we're painting, and it actually shifts them to becoming pastel in colour.
Yeah, I don't like ultra matte paints. I like a slight satin finish.
But the point is, I recommend to Joe Blogs, go pick yourself up a decent red, decent blue, decent white, and a few greys, etc. And he goes and looks at the shelf, and he looks at medium grey. He looks for the name rather than the colour that it actually is in the bottle, because again, I always caveat with, when you're buying paints, don't look at the colour in the bottle. I know that's a bit hard to say, but it's not going to actually dry that colour. It's very rare it dries that colour.
I was going to say, again, one of the main reasons, if I show everybody, one of the main reasons I've gone to the lengths of painting the tops of all of my model colour bottles is that not every paint in the range, but a significant number of them change colour on drying very significantly. So when it goes on wet, you can get caught out. It's more of an issue when you're choosing a highlight, because you can do a highlight and you end up with the colour blending into your base tone because it's not contrasty enough, because it lightens so much or darkens so much when it dries. You know, again, I get what you're saying. You know, from the position of a new painter, having that unpredictable behaviour is not helpful at all, and I'll totally give you that. Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you become experienced, it's not an issue. You know, the more painting you do, the more you realise all the pitfalls that are there, the more you change your behaviour, you do things differently, so you compensate. But when you're brand new, you don't want to go to the shop, buy a grey, get it home, and it's like, hang on, this is brown. This is brown. What the bollocks? This is dark cream.
Again, particularly if, for example, again, we've had it at club. Lads have come in and said, "Oh, what should I highlight such and such with?" And it's like, what have you been using? Oh, well, I've been using Citadels. Right. Well, I don't know exactly the conversions for Citadels to Vallejo model colours, but this is one of the three paints that I would use, kind of thing.
Yep.
And then they wander into the shop and then think, oh, well, this blue, for example, is actually better for highlighting. It looks like it'd be better in the bottle, based on the mental image that they have of the paint that they've got at home. And then they get it home and it's nothing fucking like it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying. And it is a fair criticism.
And again, it's not just a Vallejo thing; it is a everyone thing. But no. Because
I mean, every like you say, every paint company is different. Some of the Some of the paints are more stable in terms of colour change. Even paints within a range by a company, you get different behaviours.
Well, again, even some of the blues or some of the reds from Vallejo dry completely fucking differently. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And the naming convention thing can be weird.
Annoying.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Army Painter. I mean, I've got these new speed paints. And we've got Crusader Skin. Well, what sort of colour's Crusader Skin? The other weird thing is, if it's supposed to be a skin tone, it's like no skin tone I've ever seen. It's the weirdest colour in the world. But, you know, and Sand Golem. Well, what does that mean? I mean, obviously it means it's a browny beigey colour, but and I suppose that at least they have colour swatches on the front. But, you know, it doesn't give you a clue, does it, from the name?
No. There was another point I was about to make.
Having said that, I'm having a quick look here. 90% of the paints, well, 60-70% of the paints have actually got a colour listed on them. I mean, Plasmatic Bolt.
Yeah, that's a bit how's your father, but
what the hell's a Plasmatic Bolt supposed to look like? Well, apparently it's sort of turquoisey colour.
Assuming your plasma's running on turquoise.
Yeah.
But let's not open that can of worms.
Yeah, as I say, fair comment. So I have finished, except for basing, my Assassin's Creed crossbowman. Shall we go over to Minicam?
You are putting me to shame, sir.
I don't know. Here we go. Right, so let's go to Minicam. David will have to catch up in a bit because he's watching the stream live. So, these are the models. Hopefully they're clear enough for everybody at home. Can we turn some of them around so that we can show the back off? Here we go. So we've got the front and the back. So this is my first foray into speed paints. I'm sort of happy with it. They're
not as bright and poppy as I thought they would be,
No,
Chuck.
they're not. But to be fair, I think that's because I didn't really zenithal them as hard as I could have done.
That's what she said.
So that may be sort of like
on operator error.
Yeah.
Teenagers scare the living shit.
So, as I say, the paint scheme. The only thing that I found with using the Army Painter is you can't do small details with these speed paints. And everybody's going to say, well, yeah, of course, because the idea is to be quick. So if you're painting small details, why you wouldn't be painting small details if you're going quick. And it's sort of, yeah, I get it, but it is a bit frustrating. So, for example, see if I can get my paintbrush into shot to act as a little pointer. These chest pieces have got like an animal with a bar underneath. I've had to paint that with standard acrylics. These they look like braces, but actually they're like a beading on the borders of their tabards. I've had to paint that with standard acrylic paint, because if you go anywhere near it with a speed paint, they just ooze all over the place because they just get dragged. They've got such a, I don't know what the word is, surface tension. They just get pulled all over the whole mini.
They've got a very wash-like consistency.
Very much so. So you can't keep them contained for when you're doing the painting. The other thing that I would say is, and I've said this, I'm not convinced that they're any faster. If you're an experienced painter I'm not convinced that these are any faster than just slapping down a base coat, slapping down a wash like Agrax Earthshade, and calling it done. Do you know what I mean? I think you could get a look that's as good as quickly using standard paint products. If you're not experienced as a painter, then no, that's different. So maybe they are a newcomer type product. But
again, the other thing you were saying is because you're using a synthetic brush for these because of their wash light consistency.
Yeah.
And you have details and crevices that you want to get into to base coat or to be tidy. That's the other thing that's very crucial, particularly with the contrast, is being tidy and not overlapping shit you've already done.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're constantly wanting to switch between your brushes.
I don't know if I can actually show you that. If I go back to the big picture, so the gloves were done in this hardened leather, which is sort of like, as you can see from the miniatures, it's a very yellow, orange, brown colour. Whoops, he says, knocking the camera. So this colour doesn't cover very well, and because I painted the sleeves black, where the tops of the gloves are, where the fold over is there is dots of black on the edges where I tried to paint the sleeve which lies between this ruff and the glove itself, and those black dots or dark patches are not covered by the paint. And again, if I want to go in and mask them off, I did actually try and do that where in a couple of places, and I found that it reactivated exactly as it said on the internet. When I applied Vallejo white over these paints, even when they'd been dried for 24 hours, they reactivated and bled into the white to give me like a hue. Now, does it matter? As not really, because even when they bleed in so faintly that if you were to apply another contrast or speed paint over the top, I'm sure it would mask it. I'm sure you wouldn't tell. But obviously it is there. I've seen it happen now.
You've seen it with your
I've got to take it into account when I'm using these as a product. So yeah, we're done. 10 crossbowmen finished. Generally, I'm happy with the result. I'll try and get some decent pictures put up. Can
put them on our Instagram.
Yeah, and I'll probably create, for those people who go to the OnTableTop website, I'll probably create a project on there under my profile, Warboss D, to sort of go through my experiences painting them. But yeah, they're pretty good. I did go back, I used that Crusader skin and I didn't like it, so I went over it with basic skin tone and added highlights to the faces just to make them pop and look a little bit more natural, because they look like it's a weird, again, because of the way that their hats overhang their heads, they got a really, the zenithal didn't hit the faces, so they had very dark features because of the zenithal effect, and it
makes them hard to read.
Yeah, it didn't really work. So
now, question for you: when you were zenithaling, how heavy were you going, or what angles were you coming in from?
Essentially, what I did was 45 degrees all around the model and then top down. So effectively it got like a dose at 45 all round, and then
tinted grey.
And then the top down, where it hit what had already been hit, it gave it a double dose from above, sort of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, because that's how I've just done mine.
Yeah.
Well, I say how I've just done mine, I mean how I've just done my painting comp minis.
Yeah, sure.
When I did my... You even said that, actually, when we were talking about these... What was it, Sunday night? No, it can't have been Sunday night, because you were gaming. Saturday. You said about the fact that you were contemplating going over a grey-white prime next time. A grey-white Zenith.
Yes, because the black shadows are quite severe. The other thing is, I used ink, not white paint, for my Zenithal. And it's the first time I've done a Zenithal with an ink, and I need to be a bit bolder and a bit more fierce with how I put the ink on. Ink doesn't cover like paint.
Well, the other thing is, I think particularly with speed paints, you don't worry if you go up to super bright white from the top down, because that's poppy. Do you know what I mean? I think that leans into the material you're using.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and I think in future I will try and be more bold with the...
As close to white as you can be.
Yeah, I'll definitely be more bold with the Zenithal, because A, the paints need it, and B, it'll look better.
I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't know how well that's coming out.
It's a bit overexposed, but it looks focused, so that's half the battle won.
Where did my fucking TV thing go?
We are not painting bases with that brush, because that's like a fly's eyelash.
Oh, you're taking my technique.
Yes.
Right.
The David Smith School of Painting. Paint the base with the smallest possible brush.
Slightly less overexposed.
Yes, a lot less. Let me go to large David for everybody at home. There we go. That's slightly bigger.
Base coats going down on...
Hang on.
A halfling recipe.
Ta-da! Yep.
With a foot-long sub under one arm.
That's an awesome model.
And then halfling chef, focus you bastard, who has a massive hentai tentacle across his back.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, what the hell's he got across his shoulders? But yeah, it's
octopus. It's a piece of squid. Piece of squid, boys and girls. Drinking beer and painting competition. I'm a little bit panicky because I don't think I've ever quite left it this late to paint a painting comp.
Why?
I'm away at the weekend.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, you've got days yet.
Yeah, I'm away, so I can't.
Yeah, no, you're going to be busy, aren't you?
It's going to be a job tonight, and I might try and take some paints and a brush with me. And then, if not, it's going to be a Monday night job.
Yeah.
Monday. To be fair, redeeming factor, bank holiday Monday, 4-day week next week. So yeah, that's true. I can sit and paint it all on Monday.
Although I'm in, so...
Now, here's a question for you, Paul.
I think this grey is too pale, but fuck it. We've gone...
How would you paint bread? And I know that sounds like an odd question for boys and girls at home, but he has a foot-long Subway sandwich under his arm. It needs to be painted bread. Like a crusty French tiger loaf. Everyone loves a bit of tiger loaf. Unless you're gluten intolerant.
I tell you what, ironically enough, this speed paint hardened leather would be an excellent colour for that. But you don't have that.
No, I'm currently breaking into the Drucci Violet to finish another tentacle boy.
I tell you what I would do. red leather, but I would probably add one of the beiges to it just to take it back a little bit.
Right.
Because it is a bit too red. You want it to be
bit intense.
Yeah, it wants to be a bit more washed out. And then obviously, because it's bread, you want to be dry brushing and highlighting with much paler beiges. Again, just to wash that colour out.
The only problem is it's got no texture to dry brush. Because it's a
stippling?
flat 3D. True, I could stipple the shit out of it.
Because again, bread's quite textured stuff, so stippling might be a way to go if there's nothing there to work with.
Then he also looks like he has in this sandwich. Let's have a look, shall we? He looks like he's got some ham, so we'll paint that like a flesh tone. It looks like he's got some Emmental cheese and some lettuce as well. He's a very well-fed referee.
I mean, in terms of the fillings, there are two ways you can go. So you can either paint quite lifelike, so you'll want quite muted colours, or you can just go cartoony and just overpaint it. Do you know what I mean? Bright yellow cheese, bright red
American
ham.
cheese, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It depends on the look that you're going for, really.
Well, considering the rest of the team's quite realistic.
Yeah, so you want quite muted colours. Certainly your top coats want to be muted, your highlights want to be muted. What might work better is intense base colours, but then mute it, because there's a small details, aren't they?
Yeah.
It depends how you want to go about it.
I don't know. I'm currently shading.
How are you going to shade the sandwich?
I don't really know.
Agrax? Seraphim would be the way to go.
Better call, and I will show you what the better call is in a minute.
Yeah.
It's a contrast paint called Skeleton Hordes.
Skeleton Horde.
Yeah.
Diluted down with Lamian.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just currently painting Tentacle Filigree. Because as of when this mini is finished, that is one of the starter sets for Club done.
What are you painting there? Oh, that overpower.
Yeah. Overdrive.
I knew it had over in it.
Get over yourself.
Boom boom.
Here all week, boys and girls. I'll be your number one with a bullet. Oh, P.S.
Yeah.
Played some Farm Sim last night.
Jammy kit.
But you were too busy.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was. That's fair.
Ricky loved it.
Oh, you played with Ricky?
Yes!
Oh, right, okay. So we're going to start up a 3-player Xbox game.
Yeah, but he's also on about getting it on PC because I've told him that PC's better. Because
I suppose
you can get more mods.
Yeah, that is fair. Since I've got it on PC, I haven't played it on the Xbox pretty much at all. Even being able to gain access to more maps makes the PC a really attractive proposition. Even if you don't look at the other mods, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, mate.
Yeah,
Right, that is an Overdrive Mini done. So we're just waiting for him to dry now. I'll hold him up to the camera in a second.
crap.
Move this way. Start being slightly so overexposed. There we go. He's done.
He's very overexposed.
Loaded guard complex, cock it and pull it. We're going down, 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 down. No, that's the other thing I want you to try on some minis when you get an opportunity.
Yeah.
Airbrushing that speed paint.
Airbrushing it, eh?
Yeah, because his tentacles were done with an airbrush of Volupus Pink.
Which is the contrast, isn't it?
Yes.
The only opportunity I can think of where I'm going to have that is the cavalry models for this. Maybe airbrush the horses.
I do believe, Rick, speaking of the devil, he has appeared in chat. Have you seen his latest message?
No, mate. No, mate, I haven't. Let me... Da 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 dee, da da da. But he just got a farm sim. Another addict is created. So
that's the best though now at work, because there's a few people at work that play it in the office.
Okay.
And a couple of them vape, and we've just been ranting about it outside about like the latest game and 19 and other stuff. So
are they all people? Have they all upgraded to 22?
Yes, because they play on like PlayStation and shit.
Okay.
But there's still issues. But there's a surprise.
What do you mean there's still issues?
Bales don't work, trees still crash the game.
Oh yeah, you told me all that the other night. Yeah, okay.
Come on out, Bubble. Ricky! Them painting comp's done yet? Oh shit, I was meant to come give you basic material today, wasn't I? Fuck, I'll need to sort that out tomorrow.
So no, his competition is not done, and it's your fault. How very dare you, sir?
Nothing is ever my fault.
Yeah, so it's that issue, isn't it, where you're going to need to use auto loaders and stuff like that for bales.
Sorry for those that came here for hobby, but I've just opened up another can of worms by sheerly mentioning Farming Sim.
To be fair, I do miss it. But it's not necessarily a bad thing to not have the distraction to get more hobby done. Because there's never enough time to do hobby.
To be fair, that was a lockdown thing for us, wasn't it?
Yeah. The world's going mad. Let's just retreat to a digital world of fantasy.
However, we have also mentioned the fact that we might try streaming some TTS Commander. Haven't we?
We have, and we should try. We should do a test on like my or your Twitch account, just to test do a feasibility study, see whether our hardware can stand it.
Because again, we set ourselves quite constrained. Because again, we both own some Magic, but we both have massive caveats on our Magic collection. And particularly when it comes to putting digital copies of it on TTS and the like.
Well, to be fair, the only caveat I think it's worth operating when you're doing that sort of thing is keep cards under a particular cost, or keep decks under a particular cost, because otherwise, if everybody can build a $6,000 modern deck, what's the point? You get
the other thing, as we
degenerate gameplay, don't you?
We have said like the decks that we were playing with through lockdown were decks that we were trying and sort of aspire to own, or like the idea of them and want to play test them before we commit to buying the cards.
Yeah, I mean that's something that I would say is also an advantage of putting a price cap on a deck. If you want to own it in paper because you enjoy playing it, it's affordable, it's doable. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you only have to look at my Nala commander deck. I am going to buy that at some point.
What price is it currently?
It was last year, I think, about 65.
Okay, so it's affordable.
I can tell you because it's on what's it called? What was the program that we used to use for it?
Tapped.net.
And I'll tell you what it is.
Is what we use to import our decks to
TTS tables.
TTS, yeah. For everybody who's watching, you'll probably find links to all of this crap that we're talking about in the captioning at the bottom of the video, in the comments, etc. I'll try to update them.
I do quite like the look of the that Kawagama set that came out, just for the artwork on it. But to be fair, we've not been into standard Magic for a while. We had a little bit of a go the beginning of lockdown, didn't we, of playing Arena daily, but it was a hot mess, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's something I very quickly got tired of, I'm afraid. I'm keeping up with it's do you know what, it applies just as much to 40k as it does to Magic the Gathering, or any game where the manufacturer or the designer wants to put me on a treadmill and make me run like mad to stand still. I'm out. Do you know what I mean? I've played so many collectible card games in my time. I'm just done with that racket. And Games Workshop obviously employ the same model with their miniatures games, where there's a constantly evolving meta for competitive and any play. They would rather it was all play, but it is competitive play particularly. With new product, new models, new books, whether that's fucking campaign books or codices.
Right, so in Nala Archmage Ritualist deck, which is blue, black, and red, current pricing on it on Card Kingdom is between $75 and $87, and on TCG Player is between $54 and $66.
Oh, so it's very affordable. That's where I like to be. About 60. Well, to be fair, I'd probably take it a little bit more because I like to be around 60 quid. 60 of your English pounds. And then that allows me to buy the deck sleeves, and box, and still have change from 100 quid.
Oh, that was another deck I wanted to build, wasn't it? Vito's Thorny.
I don't know, mate.
It was mono black with Vito Thorn of the Dusk Rose as the commander. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life.
Yeah, that's horrible.
And for
deck.
3 and 2 black creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn.
The only deck that I played on TTS, well, 2 decks I possibly wouldn't buy in paper, were my Kogler deck, the King Kong deck in green, which was fun, but it
fucking brutal and janky.
Well, it just didn't capture my imagination. And my Shirai black deck, just because it's not very powerful and it's really fragile to without Without Shirei,
Yeah.
it does nothing, and it's very easy for the table to just say, we're going to keep her off the table. Thank you very much.
See,
And
I got a bad rep for using Gishath, didn't I?
that bloody dinosaur.
Yeah,
that was fucking horrible, that deck.
What? That I fucking love that deck. I love piloting that deck. It's just, I attack with him. I get all this shit for free.
Yeah, broken. Anyway, if anybody is actually into Magic the Gathering, post in the comments below. I'm not sure how much of our audience are into the card game side of our gaming hobby. I mean, obviously, as is probably becoming apparent, we're not much of. I'm not much one for digital gaming. My indulgence of Farming Simulator is more of a nostalgia thing because I grew up in a rural county of England and my father worked on the land and I worked on the land when I was a teenager and stuff, so there's like a massive nostalgia thing, as I've said, for me, but I'm not a big digital gamer.
Whereas I'm just a sad act.
But
love the game.
If it's any other type of gaming, so cards, board games, then yeah, we're up for that. As you guys are probably gleaning with Everdell and Magic the Gathering and all the topics of discussion around that. Talking of Magic, that's the other thing that's nice about Connor, one of the new guys at our club. He's keen to play Magic. So next week at club, fingers crossed, I should be taking Connor through the starting scenarios for Carnivale.
Ooh,
because we're going to be playing the starter set. What's it called?
Escape from San
Canciano. And if we run out of time, I've said to him, I'll just chuck a couple of my modern decks in my bag, and we can do a bit of Magic the Gathering.
For fuck's sake, don't take your Rise from the Tide deck. Actually, no. To be fair, that is a good one because your other one, which is the fucking green one, is horrible.
Yeah, I'll probably take the Cats and the Rise from the Tides, and I'll give him the Cats deck, because that's vaguely good. The Rise from the Tides deck's just stupid. But yeah, I could do with building another budget modern deck. I need something that's not Commander to vary my repertoire. Thing is, it's actually quite difficult to find builds in the right price range. Most people who list those sort of decks on the internet, they're all hundreds and hundreds of pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm not into it enough that I can build my own decks. You know, I'm not going to spend 10 or 15 hours building a deck list myself. I want to rob it from somebody who's had a good idea and
saying that, the one time you built a jank commander deck from just your trash.
Yeah.
Fuck me. That the two you built actually turned out really fucking good.
I built that
mono red Chandra.
Oh, I'd forgotten Chandra. Yeah, the other was the red white one, wasn't it?
Red white allies.
Yeah, that was fucking. I don't know how I did that. That was a complete fluke. I'm going to say that right out. How that deck was that good, considering, as you said, it was built out of common and uncommon crap from my collection.
I think there was one rare in it, wasn't there?
Yeah, probably the Commander. So yeah, but I mean, again, but I think it's like anything. When you've played Magic, I mean, when did I start playing Magic? I I got a 7th edition starter set, so somebody in the comments can tell us when the hell that was. The 2-player box set was the first Magic product I ever owned. So whenever 7th edition was.
A long time ago in a
Galaxy far, far away.
edition far, far away.
Yeah.
To be fair, I only got into Magic because of you. Because I think you said, you seen this? You tried this when we were dicking around one time at yours. And I'm like, no. And then I started playing and I like it. I just have a bit of a rep for being a fucking blue-black player.
Well, to be fair, if you find something that floats your boat, go with it. I mean, that's the great thing about Magic. It's such an established game with such a massive repertoire of cards. You can find a play style or a thing that sort of chimes with you, and you just run with it.
Well, again, my first standard deck, which was what's it called, Dinos.
Yeah, that was Ixalan. Was that?
Yeah, when Ixalan was a thing, and then returned to Ixalan. That was my first deck. I've since then built a Boros, so red white Knight deck. No, it's Mardu because it's got a splash of black in there. Mono, well, not mono, blue black pirates. Again, that was Ixalan.
Yeah, that was your main. That was where you got your most of your establishing cards, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ixalan block, and then I drafted Theros with club and built an alright deck out of that. But Commander's where my love is for Magic. The fact that there's every card basically in existence available to be able to be broken in one way or another.
Yeah. And
the other thing is, it's a multiplayer format, so if somebody does get Tall Poppy Syndrome at a table, it's not like you're just slamming your head against a power deck. There's 3 others of you at the table trying to bring the fucker down.
Yeah, the politics can come into play, and 3 versus 1 can slow something down or stop it to give everybody else a chance. I mean, sometimes you can see a winner come in and they'll win really quickly, but it's far less problematic.
It's not the end of the world.
Than the other formats can be. Again, we mentioned it briefly with Necromunda. That the drawback with Magic the Gathering is that you need to have... Ricky says one game he's staying away from. I would never criticise anybody from saying Magic's not for me, mate. It's very opponent dependent. It can get very expensive if you get trapped into a power gaming group who just want to keep ramping up. And if you want to play like the rotating formats like standard, again, it's just a fucking money pit. Not
I will caveat that, Ricky, with their commander decks that they've been releasing, the bundled ones that are now coming with sets, aren't half bad for the 30-odd quid that they are.
But I think there's also the issue that was highlighted with Everdell. Card-based games aren't Ricky's favourite, are they?
Yeah, cards aren't Ricky's favourite, no.
I mean, because again, this is the other issue with Magic the Gathering.
Everything's on the card.
Well, not only that, how many different card mechanics are there in Magic? I mean, how long's it been in production?
What have we got? Combat mechanics. First strike, double strike, flying, menace, vigilance, trample. The 6 that I can just think of off the top of my head that are for combat. That's before you even getting into the interactions between
Life
cards.
Link.
Yeah, lifelink. Death touch.
Yeah. It's can of worms opened. So, what's your plan for next week at club? Do you have a plan? You all organised? Are you back to Gaslands?
Yes. I am actually now organised for the next 3 weeks. So I've got Gaslands next week.
Yep.
The week after, I've got to print some Star Scrappers 4. We're going to give that a demo.
Yep.
And then the week after, it's 1,000 points of Iron Jaws versus Forces of Order, AOS.
Nice. I'm really keen to see what you think of AOS, because you've not played it in the new edition yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
So, who are you playing against, and what are you playing against? Is it Luke? Or
Luke
Ricky?
and Ricky. Luke and Ricky.
Oh, that's right. You did tell me this. You're having some weird three-player game, aren't you?
I'm getting tag teamed.
2 versus
2 versus 1, so 2 lots of 500 points. Daughters of Cain and Stormcast
versus Iron Jaws.
1,000 points of Iron Jaws, and both of those guys have fucking shooting, and I have none of it. So you know exactly what's going to happen.
It may be a long way off, and I don't know if you've thought about it, but what are you going to do for your game format? Are you going balls deep, grand strategies, battle tactics?
Probably not.
Okay.
Because Luke's not played with them yet.
Yeah, Ricky's saying it's more all of the reading for cards. Yeah, I totally get it, mate. Yeah.
Luke's not played with them yet. It's Ricky's first game, and I'm coming back to a new edition. Do you know what I mean?
No, sure. To be fair, Luke said him and Jake just played stripped down, AOS easy mode, and they enjoyed it. Do you know what you should do? You should play AOS, and then the week after you should use the same models and play Age of Fantasy.
Luke also wants to play Age of Fantasy.
Because you haven't tried any of the one-page rule games yet, sir, have you?
No, I haven't.
You need
But I also know if I do, it's going to be a rabbit hole because I love their Lizard Men prints.
Well...
Look, I had this conversation actually with Ricky at club. I own 3,000 odd points of Space Marines.
Yes.
2,000 odd points of Tau.
You should do a Battle Brothers Grimdark list.
Hang on. 1,000 points of Admech and 1,000 points of Death Guard.
Yeah.
I have no interest in picking them up until the next edition.
Grimdark Future.
If I'm playing 40k.
Grimdark Future.
AOS, I think I've got about... Well, I'll tell you what I've got, because I've got it on my phone in front of me, actually.
Because you were saying that... your Aurochs have changed and stuff's not battle line now.
Yeah, I've got 1,600 points of AOS, but that was last edition. Iron Jaws, which is a Mega Boss, a War Chanter, a Weird Knob, which are all still leaders. 2 squads of 15. Oh, they fixed you can only take hard boys in squads of 15 as well now. They're down to squads of 5, so they are technically legal.
Ah, so you can actually play them out of a box without buying 2 boxes.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So 30 hard boys, 10 brutes at 150 points for 5, so that's another 300 points there. And then what was referred to, I think, as the meme unit for Iron Jaws, which was the Pain Train. 3 Gore Grunters. And I have 2 sets of those at 170 points a pop on the old point system. So yeah, that was 1,600 points of Iron Jaws.
So what's that? You've got that saved as a PDF?
No, it's Battlescribe, but because I haven't updated Battlescribe, it's not
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. So
done yet. And then Sylvaneth, which is my second army. So again, this is actually a good point here. So on starter sets, you get Branch Witch, Tree Lord, and Dryads. 10 Dryads. Ricky had a look at his Daughters of Cain start collecting box set. It's got no battle line units, so it's technically illegal.
well, in what sense? There's no law against what you got to start collecting with, or are you saying you can't play match play because you can't
technically play match play because you
Well,
don't
fair.
have 2 battle line units. Do you
But
know
is
what
that
I mean?
what it's intended as?
It's a start collecting box. One would argue start collecting means you should be able to play the match play legally.
One would argue that, but Games Workshop might argue, well, no, we want you to buy that and 2 units of Witch Elves.
Yeah. So I...
Or 2 units of whatever the other core choice is. There's 2, isn't there? I can't remember. Witch Elves is one of them. Ricky might know. What's your other core choice, Ricky? Witch Elves and what?
Oh my god, the Megaboss got a points reduction. I'll tell you what I've got in the new edition. So, thingies... No, that's not what I was looking at. I was looking at fucking what the price was for order units. Sylvaneth. Branch Witch. 90 plus a Tree Lord of 180. And then a unit of 10 Dryads is 95 points. So bear in mind, Ricky start collecting box is like 700 points.
Yeah.
The Sylvaneth start collecting box is 365.
What? 365 points from the whole box?
Yeah.
That's fucking ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. That disparity is crazy. And it means as a Sylvaneth player, you've got so much more money to spend to get yourself up to a full army. That seems stupid.
I want to know what's in the fucking box. Tell me what's in the fucking box. There's 18 miniatures, I know that. Okay, so it's a unit of 16 Dryads. Okay. Which I don't even think is legal.
Oddly specific number. Well, it's is it saying there are 16 models? Sisters of Slanesh? Okay. That'll be his other core choice. So that's what you need then, Ricky. You need to add 2 boxes of your core. Probably best to buy 1 box of each. Just add it to your army box. And there you go. Bang. Army done. You must be close to 1,000 points by then.
Well, 10 Dryads is 95 points. Yeah?
Yes.
So they're 9.5 points each.
Right.
Which is another 57 points on top of the... What did I say it was?
350 odd, I think. 380 maybe. I can't remember.
Plus 95. I'll tell you in a second what it is exactly. Tree Lord's 180.
Well, to be fair, Ricky, if I was you, I'm not a power gamer or whatever. I would go with 1 unit of each, because then I fulfill my 2 battle line choices. It gives me maximum variety of models.
Okay,
Gives me more different things to paint. So I'd go with 1 of each, mate. Now, if you're worried about winning and want to choose the best, just Google it. Somebody on the internet will have said, oh, well, the best choice for the witch elves is this, blah, blah, blah. But that's not how I roll. So I wouldn't worry about it.
422, sir, is what's in that start collecting Sylvaneth box.
So you're not even halfway to you're not even
1,000
500.
points.
That's fucking crazy. And how much is a start collector?
40 quid if you don't buy it from GW.
And yet some of the other armies get like 700 points out of a start collector.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems bullshit. That seems BS.
I mean, I don't mind, because again, as a Sylvaneth player, the Dryads are a bit shit anyway, but I bought them because I wanted to just paint some trees. I mean, I was going to go with the Seraphim army, but I didn't want to step on other players' toes at club, because we already have a Seraphim player.
That's a weird mentality. Just go with what you want. Yeah, you see, Ricky's got the right idea. Just play for fun. Well, if you're playing for fun, Ricky, and you need 2 battle line choices, and you have 2 options you can take, my money
buy one of each.
Buy a box of each. Have more cool models, different rules. The only other consideration might be if you don't want to get it to be too confusing, it'd be easier to get 2 units the same, because it's less units to memorize, less rules to memorize. So that's the other consideration. It has swings
and roundabouts.
Yeah, and to be fair, that's not necessarily a small consideration with Age of Sigmar, because there's quite a lot of rules overhead to remember
on each unit.
Yeah, particularly on your units. Each unit has lots of different special abilities. You know, probably 2 or 3 individual entries on the War Scrolls. So, as I say, it's a factor for you to consider, sir. But, as I say, for me, it would be more choice, please. More variety, because I love building the way I've always built 40k armies or whatever is what they call Highlander. I'll just choose 1 of each of everything until I hit my points limit. I don't like spamming multiples. The only time I'll do that is if I have to, because you need X core choice, you need blah blah. It's like with my Tzeentch Demons, one of the major drawbacks of them is that there is only 1 core choice.
Pink Horrors, which are broken as fuck.
Well,
and
actually,
now.
I'm lying, aren't I? Because you can take Pink Horrors, Blue Horrors, or Brimstones, and you can buy them all raw.
Yeah, but why would you take the other ones when you take the pinks and get the blues as well?
Well, they are significantly cheaper in terms of points. But, yes, it does seem a bit daft. I'd rather just buy the fucking pinks and then have the layers. You know, just get all those models for free in bunny ears. For free. So, talking about Games Workshop starter sets and whether they're good value or not, this is something that I've seen on the internet a couple of times in the last few days, in the context of this new Horus Heresy box set, because I believe, I'm not down with the kids, but I believe the contents have been leaked all over the internet. Did you see it in our Discord server?
I fucking heard what the price was.
Yeah.
Off Luke.
Are you buying yourself one?
No.
Really?
I mean, it does hark back to the nice days of 7th edition.
Yeah. You don't fancy 240 quid plus then?
No, I'd rather sell my kidney or buy 240 quid's worth of Infinity and have, like, loads of different factions.
Yeah, to be fair, because this is precisely where I was going with this conversation, which is, okay, so you buy, let's say the Horus Heresy starter box is 240 quid. I've seen people saying, oh yeah, that's good value because those miniatures alone would be 300 quid. And in Ashbarker's Guerrilla Miniatures game Facebook group, a guy was asking how much it was going to be. And I said, well, rumour is £240 British or 386 Canadian or whatever in that area anyway. And then
You fucking what?
and then you're getting like, but you know, if you look at the models that are in it, that's like $450, blah blah blah, and it's like, yeah, but it's shaky. Games Workshop stuff is so overpriced in general. To say, oh well, that box is good value because based on the individual purchases, it's X cheaper. Yeah, but their stuff's massively fucking overpriced anyway. What you should be doing is, what you should be saying is exactly what your first response was. Well, hang on, what could I get in Game X for 240 quid?
I'm just putting it out there. Mantic, Kings of War, 3rd edition, 2 starter armies will cost you 220. You've got 20 quid left over to go out and buy yourself the rulebook. Fucking happy days. You got 2 starter armies for a brand new game.
Firefight 2nd edition. Starter book, rulebook, 2 armies, and change. Eh?
200 odd quid. I'll go and buy 2 Kickstarters for 3D printing and a load of filament or resin.
That's a bit niche though, mate. Come on.
No,
keep it to game systems. I mean, your Infinity one's a great example. I mean, Infinity Army, if you wanted to buy all the models from Corvus Belli to get yourself a bespoke army, you're probably looking at 80 to 100 quid, aren't you? Minimum. So you could buy a couple of Infinity armies.
But again, it's like I spent, what was it, nearly... I think I spent about 150 by the time I bought my... Yeah, it must have been about 150 because it was about 70 to 80 for my starter set.
Yeah.
30 quid for my expansion. And then my smorgasbord of just little bots I added to top up both factions to my 300 points.
And it gave you 2 armies, didn't it? Yujing and... Pano, yeah. So yeah.
For 150.
Yep.
And okay, the rulebook's 60 quid.
Although 210. It's free online.
No, I know, but if you want a printed rulebook that actually lasts longer than 5 minutes... Sorry. I shouldn't kick a puppy while it's down.
Well, the thing is, that's the irony, isn't it? Because not only do they change editions very, very rarely, but they even give you the fucking thing free anyway. It's available as a free PDF with just the fluff taken out. It's like, oish. Their app is free.
Yeah,
which has army building and rules references in it. It links direct to the wiki when you click on it, so it takes you right through to rules FAQs and stuff, all completely free. Another thing about Malifaux that I was talking about earlier, you've got the M3 Crew Builder. It's available for Android, Apple, and there's even a Windows browser version. All free. All errata included.
Jesus. Frostgrave.
Well, yeah, okay.
As an example.
Now you're just being silly. 240 quid, you could buy what? The entire library of Frostgrave books.
And
would that even get to 240 if you bought every single Frostgrave book? You might be close.
no, I doubt it. Because they've amalgamated a load of them, haven't they? They did
Have
a
they?
compendium one. Yeah, I think so.
No, the compendium was the first thing, but it covered like PDF releases and early stuff before they did books. Unless they've done another one, which might be a thing.
Hang on, here we go. Okay, so you have, this was in 2018. This was what was available. Frostgrave, Thor of the Lich Lord, Into the Breeding Pits, Forgotten Pacts, Folio, Rules for Campaigns, a solo co-op campaign, and a couple of other campaigns. Ulterior Motives cards, Maze of Malkar, the Grimoire, spell cards, and includes all the spells from all supplements. Tales of the Frozen City, which is a fiction
I was going
collection.
to say that's not a game.
And three issues of the Spellcaster. That was in 2018. And we've had, what, another 2 releases since then, plus second edition?
We've got, did you mention Dark Alchemy?
That's in the compendium, I'm 99% sure.
The folio?
Yeah.
Is that that's not the one I'm thinking of then? What was the one where they did the solo play?
Hang on. Folio is a mini ebook and it contains Hunt the Golem,
Yes.
Tell Sword, and Dark Alchemy.
Right. Yeah.
So it was the compendium of them. And you can buy that for £9.
Okay.
Thor of the Lich Lord.
Yeah.
That's available for £9.
Okay, so we're not even going to get close to 240 quid buying all of the books. So we can buy all of the books and supplements.
Probably all of the models that are in those books for your core warband. If you go to Reaper,
yeah, you could certainly buy 2 warbands for next to no, couldn't you?
Set of D20s.
Yeah. I suppose you could, if you started branching out into your monster minis, you might hit your £240 limit. But
radical idea here. 240, right? 240 at GW gets you the minis. No terrain, nothing. Go to gamemat.eu, buy a mat, buy the ruin set that club has.
Yeah,
that's what,
the
150,
cast
160. Set. Yeah.
Yep.
Buy your faction from Reaper or the like for another what, $40.
Yeah, or even
so
go
you now
to bloody Northern Star or whatever it is, and buy one of the box sets.
Yeah, so call that
20 quid. You've got your warband.
200. Yeah, 200. You got your warband.
Yeah,
and a terrain set.
And
add the rule book for another 15 quid. Done.
Yeah, you got the entire game ready to play, except for adding snow effects to your terrain because it's all painted.
Yeah, you got literally all you have to do is take it out of a box and put it down, and it looks pretty.
Yeah,
it's insane.
So, well, I don't know about you, mate, but I'm definitely up for one of these Horus Heresy boxes. Sounds like insane value. I'm sold.
I'm falling off my chair at the price, the value of that box.
It's staggering, staggeringly good value. The whole industry is shaken to its core with the value.
Mantic are quaking in their boots. Reaper are questioning their life choices.
Yeah.
Question for you.
Yes.
Matey with the... Actually, I'm going to do a thing. Hopefully, maybe.
A
thing. Focus, you bastard.
Yes. So, That's David and I's editorializing for tonight. What constitutes value? How do you define value? I guess it's an individual thing, but I know how we define value, and Games
that is
Workshop,
not it.
yeah, Games Workshop is not value. Their value proposition is so fucking wide of the market, shocking. On their core games, anyway. I mean, to be fair, you know, their secondary games, their board games, ironically, I don't think they're too wide of the mark. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, here's a question for you.
Yes.
If I was to send you a picture so that you could put it on stream,
Right.
would Discord PM be the best place to send it?
Or Messenger, doesn't matter.
No, if I send it through Facebook, it'll nuke the quality, won't it?
Oh, I don't know. Send me a private message. I've got it.
I've sent them to you. Just pull them up on screen because that's what I've been doing at the moment, and I'm contemplating what to do that tentacle colour and what colour to paint his actual gear.
The only problem is, of course, we're using Discord for your video feed, so that's now going to show up on stream. So, is everybody getting that? Is everybody getting your picture?
Fine.
Yeah, everybody's getting your picture. There we go. So
it's on the water panel of the stream, mate. There we go. Now it's full screen on there. So,
what do you want to know? What to do?
What colour should I paint that tentacle on him?
Yeah.
And then also, what colour should I paint like his undergarments? Because he's got like a nice chef's hat. He's got like a nice apron that I was going with white.
Yeah. Do chef's whites. Yeah.
But I don't know what colour to paint like the rest of his clothes. I don't know whether to go with like a brown leather trouser set and then different colour for his top. Because I want to paint him, but I don't want to paint him to fit the team. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And your team was blue and white, wasn't it?
Blue, white, and red.
I would do what you've just said. I would go with a brown for his other garments or shades of brown. The tentacle, I would do blue or green, because obviously it's that theme, the water theme.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even sort of go somewhere between the two, go like a turquoisey. Yeah, exactly. A teal turquoisey colour. That's what I would do. If I were you, son. That's where I'd be at.
And then numero 2 is the referee.
Which is this guy, yeah?
Yeah, he's got a whistle in his hand.
So again, what was your question on this?
What colour do I do his trousers? The top I'm going to do a white and black striping, like referee
Black.
top.
Give him a real referee uniform. Black bottoms, black and white top.
What about his hat?
Now, again, black? Because I'm trying to think of what American football refs are. I think they're just black and white, aren't they? If you Google
I'm looking.
NFL referee. See if that's reset that for everybody. There you go.
Yeah, it's literally white and black, and then a white baseball cap.
Oh, so there you go. Your cap's white then. There you go. Easy peasy paint job.
Well, I'm starting out with deck tan.
On what?
The white. All that white is deck tan.
Well, there's a shock. Your favourite bloody colour.
Well, it's better than grey, isn't it?
To be fair, it is, because you're doing fabrics, not stone. So you want something with a little bit of a soft
warmth
note in it. Yeah, warmth to it. Boom, son. So.
Because of what? What are your plans for next week at club then? Because we are fast approaching the end of stream.
Well, I did say I'm playing Carnivale.
I need to get my set finished.
Because you've got the big set, haven't you? The main 2-player job.
Yeah, I've got two single 5-man boxes that are a starter gang.
Oh, did you not get the 2-player starter set? Did you just buy your gangs?
I bought my gangs.
Ah, okay. So you did it a clever way. And then bought a rulebook.
No, I don't even own the rulebook at the moment.
Okay. I think the rules are available. Aren't the rules available free anyway?
Yes, and I'm also kind of glad that I didn't buy the rulebook, considering Blood on the Water's now out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's yeah, an unintentional good call that was. So yeah.
And
so I'm going to be playing Carnivale. Hopefully we'll get through all 3 of the missions in the San Canciano starter.
You do also realise how far away we are from Games Expo?
Yes, I do, because I need to buy my train ticket. I should have done it fucking weeks ago. I bet the price will have fucking doubled because I've left it so late. That's what happened last year. I checked the prices and thought, oh, that's reasonable. Then went to buy it and it was like, how much? How much? Give it the old Lincolnshire war cry. How much?
Yeah, but that's... Yeah.
So yes, I need to get my ticket booked for train.
For train?
Aye. Happen.
DW is down till the Sunday evening. He's coming up on the Thursday as well.
Okay.
So make sure, for fuck's sake, we bring some magic or some other shit. And then we can go get wankered in a pub like we did last year if they actually have beer.
Yeah. And they don't run out of everything. Food, beer.
I think the only thing they didn't run out of last year was fucking tap water and air, wasn't it?
And excuses. COVID. Yeah. Fuck off. So
we'll have to do a pre-show live stream, won't we?
We will have to give it some thought, certainly. Discuss what's on our radar, what we're excited about. Because obviously the other thing is we're going to be travelling up. Thursday night is stream night and we're going to be there. So
I've just had a thought.
You go steady.
Damn it. I was going to suggest about streaming on that Wednesday night just before the show.
Yeah.
And changing up the routine for 1 week.
Yeah.
But I unfortunately won't be available.
Oh.
Because it's a Wednesday night.
Yeah, understandable. Yep. So you got a diary clash.
Yeah.
So,
it was a thought I had.
It is a thought. Now, the other thing that might be a thing is we could maybe think about pre-recording something for everyone and just set it to go live at stream time. Not the same, I know, not as spontaneous, but
you still get to hear our dulcet tones.
Yeah.
That might actually be a good shout if we got together beforehand.
The other thing, and this again isn't necessarily a bad thing,
Answers on a postcard, boys and girls.
Depending on the quality of internet at the place, you can go live relatively easily from within the YouTube app on a phone or device.
Oh.
So we could bring a little tripod and just do a little sit and chat, 30 minutes.
Yeah, because again, we'd be able to get our tickets and get the what's it called?
Program and all that.
Yeah.
And we could tell everybody about, what we're planning and what's going on there. As I say, the only question mark on that is obviously we'll be using public Wi-Fi, and the data, the sort of like, what's the bandwidth on it might be cripplingly tiny, depending on how they've got configured to stop people hogging bandwidth with shit like that. But we could look at it.
Well, we could always do the best of both options, because I think the digital program might already be ready that's got who's there and what's there. Because I see GW announced that they're back this year.
Games Workshop are going, but I'm glad. I mean, much as we... Oh.
You're right.
Yeah, it looks like it's... my phone's being weird. But yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, much as we often kick GW in the guts, at the end of the day, they're a big mover and shaker in the industry, and I wouldn't want them to see them not at Games Expo, because that's a blow for Games Expo more than anything.
Well, again, it surprised us last year that they weren't there.
Yeah, to be honest, it did and it didn't. With the COVID thing, I could totally understand why any company, big or small, would be just like, there's too much planning with too much uncertainty. We're just easier for us to just say, not this year. Can't do it. So, yeah, I mean... I'll be honest, I think it was probably a mistake from Games Workshop's part not being there, because it was considering the restrictions and the problems that they had. I think it was everybody that went made a great event. It was really good, really fun. And hats off to all of those people, all of those companies and exhibitors that did make the effort to go down, because it was cracking. It was a great show. Right, we're over 10 o'clock.
We are.
I have 3 more of these to Black Edge, and we are done. And then it's just a case of varnishing them, which we can do tomorrow. That's not a problem. And then I need to do my fast travel stations, and then I'm ready to play. I'm ready to play Assassin's Creed.
Hold fire on the fast travel stations.
Why?
You've got paints coming. Haven't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, because then I can't.
Yeah, but when are you planning on playing? Are you planning on playing at any point between now and the delivery date? No, probably not.
Yeah, it's all right. Probably not. Let's put these out for the people at home. Do you know what I'm going to do? I am going to go on Amazon and I'm going to find a really small but really good LED strip light to put...
What, like I've got?
To light my miniatures with, because what I've got at the moment is utter crap. And it's too dark by far. So let's show everybody. There we go, everybody. 2 models finished and based. Just need a coat of varnish. Can we improve the lighting? Not really. It's just dark, dark, dark. Can we push them back a bit? Finger. Well, that's helped a little, but not greatly. So yeah, and all with speed paints. What's going on in the comments? Nothing else.
Not a lot.
Yeah, Ricky just says he gets one of each, as he wants to get Madura as well. I don't really get that, Ricky. I'm guessing you mean that you want to get another model.
Either that, or it might be something to do with the Marauders out of Firefight, because we mentioned
Firefight. Yeah.
Every time 40k gets mentioned at club at the moment, does Ricky wade in with the Firefight? And I completely get why, Ricky. I completely get why, because we're all sick and tired of being bent over backwards and not being asked politely before being bent over to have our hard-earned money taken.
It looks like a great game, though. Some great touches to it, in terms of you've got command point driven reactions, so very similar to stratagems, but much more
laid back
and restrained. As I say, I think it looks awesome. Anyway, everyone, we are getting to this. We've laboured tonight long enough. Let's go back to the dual screen. Hopefully, the chat was more readable for everybody. I hope our slightly more relaxed format tonight was to everybody's liking. I hope you all got some hobby done. Obviously, I got 10 models finished, which is an awesome thing to say at any point. So it's good night from me.
And au revoir from moi.
Au revoir from moi. Listen to him. Jesus Christ. Okay, everybody. We'll see you again next week.